Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft webinar. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2020, and I'm Susan Arnold, Implementation Specialist here at ClaritySoft. Our topic for today is a really good one to learn. It's on how to do searching inside of your ClaritySoft database so that you can find the lists of data that you want to find. And it can be just searching in the database for finding lists, but then also taking those skills and applying them to reports that you put together. Because most of the time when you set up a report, you also want to set up some sort of a filter. So what you learn today can be applied to reports as well. So we're going to do just some different kinds of searches and get your ideas flowing. Perhaps you'll even think of some new fields that you would like to have in your database to help you do searching. So the things we're going to cover today are the quick search. The quick search box is in the upper left corner of all of your modules and allows you to very quickly search for a record in that module. In each module, you're able to type some different pieces of information in there according to where you are, and we'll talk about that. Global search is the ability to search across multiple modules, leads, accounts, and contacts. You might be searching for a person or a company and you don't know where they are in the database or if they are in the database. So you can use the global search to find that information. Then advanced search, this one is the one that you'll want to practice the most. This allows you to do all different kinds of searches using a form filter, a standard filter, a time filter, and a product filter. And once you've created those filters and searched, you can then save that filter as a view. So you're going to learn how to do the advanced searches and then save it as a view so that you can very quickly pull up that search again by selecting the saved view. And then lastly, how can you use these searches that you do? There are different techniques in the database that allow you to filter at the account level and then view contacts. You can filter your contacts and then you can view accounts, or you can send an email, or you can view activities. So a lot of things that allow you to move from one place in the database to another once you have done some sort of a search or filter. So let's get started. And I have my database here. And you will have your different columns here, which we're going to adjust in a moment. But across the top here, we have some different filters that are built in. This is your quick search box where you can type part of an account name in here to do a quick search to pull up that record or any matching records. This is where your advanced search is and global search. We aren't really going to talk about segment search or filter. Filter actually is part of advanced search, so you don't need to use this one. And segment search, the fields that are used in that, we don't really use in ClaritySoft anymore. They're more a part of the offline version. So anything you're going to do will be done in advanced search or global search. And advanced search, especially because you can save it if you want. And then this is a drop-down list of all of your different views that we have. You will see that there are certain ones that are already built into the database, but then as we create and save our own, they will be listed under this drop-down list. And then here is a search for users where you can find records based upon a user in the system as a quick filter for that. So over here, you can see the owner field. If I quickly click in Katie, it's going to filter for just Katie's records, and she has 28. So it's a quick way for a user or a manager to quickly see what records a person has in the database. And this is in all of the different modules, okay? So quick search. For quick search, if you're looking for a specific record, you can click in there and start to type part of a company name or an account name. So I'm simply going to type NOR. You do not need to type the full name. In fact, in a lot of ways, I recommend you don't. And I'm not touching the keyboard in any way. I just typed NOR and stopped typing. So after you stop typing, ClaritySoft will start looking for matching records. So it's finding all of the records that are in the database that have the characters NOR. And what's nice, you can see here, 3 of the 4 records that we found start with NOR, okay? But one of them, the NOR is part of, actually it's in the site field. So this tells you something, that the characters that you type in the quick search do not need to be at the beginning of the word, okay? And so you can type it. If you want to clear it, you click the little X. If I typed in, I get American or America, okay? So this is something just to try. Click in the quick search, type a combination of letters, see what comes up. And you'll note that they don't need to be at the beginning. If I was trying to find everything with technology in it, I could type TECHNO. If you press the enter key after typing, it will find it a little bit faster, because by pressing the enter key, then ClaritySoft knows you're done typing your characters. So either way, you can just type, wait a second or two, or type and press enter, and it will find it. So again, it's finding technologies because I typed part of it. And if I had typed out the full word technologies and I had something in here that was technology, then it would not find that particular one. So that's why I say typing less is sometimes better. Okay. And we have quick search in contacts. In contacts, you can type part of the company or account name or part of a person's name. So for example, if I was doing the same search on the NOR, I can type that and I'm getting the same companies that I had before along with their contact person. So you can type and it will look, if I do the ERIC again, notice that I'm getting the companies. Now this company doesn't have ERIC in it, nor does this one, but the person's name does, okay? So it's searching both fields for that combination of characters. And so it will bring up both a company that matches and or a contact that matches in here. So you can just type, and notice I'm just backspacing this out. I'm not clearing the X, and I'm just typing my next word and pressing enter. So here I have all of the people that have Susan Arnold connected to them. I sure work a lot of different places. Okay, so when I'm done, I can clear that out. So you can enter part of a company name, part of a contact name. In opportunities, then in here, you can search again for account or contact, but you also can put in part of a opportunity name. So if I'm looking for that Pinedale recording, I can type in Pinedale and hit enter, and then it finds the opportunities with it either in the name of the account or in the name of the opportunity. Let me see if I can find one that's maybe, these were kind of generically created, so they all have the name of the company in it. But if you had something else in there, like, you know, building project or something like that, then you could type the project name and it would pull it up. So it's literally searching across all of these, okay? So explore that in each of your modules, and it makes it easy to find records, because if you've got more than 1,000 or even more than several hundred records in here, you don't want to have to scroll page to page to find a specific record. This allows you to quickly find it, go to it, open the record, edit it, do whatever you want to do with it, and be done. So this is something, gosh, I use this all day, every day. So it's there. All right, so that's our quick search. The next one I want to go through is the global search. And you're going to find global search option in accounts, in leads, and in contacts. So depending on which module you're in, you can decide, that you need to do a global search. When you select it, it will come up with the module that you're in already checked by default, but then you can say, okay, I also want you to look in leads and I want you to look in contacts. So you decide. And then you type your search characters and it will then search across all three modules and find things that are matching. So again, here's that Balthazar Bottling in Northport. Here's Norcross Carpet. Notice down here now, we've also got a lead. So Northern Lights Brewery is in the leads module. And then here are the contacts. So it tells you what type record it is. It gives you the name of the person if it's a contact record. And then it gives you the address and phone number and who the owner is. And then if you want to see the details on a record, you can click here and it just shows you when this record was created, when it was last edited. Okay, so you can figure out what's what. And then if you want to go to the record, then you click on the go button and it will go to that lead record and open it. So this is helpful if you want to enter a new lead or a new account record and you're not sure if it's already in your database. So you can do the global search, see if it's in the database and say, oh, that's the one that's the person I wanted to enter. I see the person's already here. Go to that person's record. You also can see who owns it. Might not be you, okay? And this is where it is very helpful for those of you that may have your users set up as individual access profile, where when they log into ClaritySoft, they can only see their own records and not anyone else's. When you use this global search, this will pull up records that don't belong to the logged in user to show that user, oh, these are records that are here that match your search. So if a person is trying to put in a new lead or a new account, they'll see, oh, North Star Enterprises is already in the database and it belongs to Susan Morris, not to me. I can't see Susan's records normally. So I would never know that that's in there. So that's where the global search is really helpful if you use the individual access profiles. You can train your people to use that to search first before they enter anything new to make sure that it's not already in the database. If it is, then they can talk to who the owner is and they can work out who's going to work with it. Okay, so that's your global search. And like I said, if you're in the leads module, you can start there and it will then show you under here, and then leads will automatically be checked, and then you can include accounts and contacts from here. So it doesn't matter where you start, you can search all three modules at the same time if you wish. All right. Okay. Advanced search. Now, advanced search allows you to search on any field in your module, whatever module you're in, including your custom fields. You do before you start to do your search is add the data fields that you're going to search on into your list view. Right now, I have the owner and I have the state field. So if I wanted to search for state, I can see the results. In my record, if I go into it, I have some other fields here. I have a status field, I have territory, industry type, so on and so forth, that I may want to search on industry type, or I may want to search on the status. So I can't see that in my columns right now. So the first thing I'd want to do is set those fields or put those fields into my columns. So you click on this vertical ellipsis button, go to column settings, and then I find the fields that I may want to search on. I'm going to pull city over just for the heck of it. And here's my industry type. And I can pull over. Let's see, what else do I have here? Status. And maybe territory. I might want to search by territory. So again, you can think of all the possible ways that you would want to search in your list. And you know, if you've been working with Claritysoft for a while, you can change this list view anytime, and it does not affect anybody else's list view. So you just want to go in here and pull up the ones that you would like to see. And then down here, you can choose what column to sort by as your default, okay? And then the results per page can be set at 20, 50, or 100. I like 100. And then you click apply. So now I can see this other data so that when I do a search, I can see, first of all, if my result was correct, okay? Because sometimes you might set up a filter and you get weird answers and you don't know why. The other thing I can see here, which is very important, I can see where the holes are in my data. So I can see that in industry type here, I have some records that are missing the industry type, quite a few, which is not good because no matter what industry type I search on, all these ones that are blank, never going to show up unless I search for blank ones. And that could be bad because maybe your $1 million customer is sitting out here and you're doing searches on something by industry type and they never come up in the list. And if you've got thousands of records, you may never notice that they're not in the list. So I can't stress enough that in order to do accurate searching in your database, you need to have complete and accurate data. And I know that's a tough one because people don't like to fill this stuff in necessarily. But you need to really be diligent about doing that because this will go into reports. If the data is not accurate and complete for a report, you're going to have missing information in reports. And that could be very important in an opportunity record, okay, if you're doing a pipeline report. So that's just super important to keep up with this. And I'm just as guilty probably as the rest of you of keeping up with certain fields in my own Claritysoft data that I work with. So, you know, we're all guilty of it just because we don't think about it. But I'm going to show you some things here. So we're going to do an advanced search. We'll just do a real simple one to start with. So I'm going to go to the Spyglass button, advanced search, and let's say that I want to find all of my accounts that are active customers in the state of Ohio. So I have a status field here in the form filter, and I'm going to choose active customer. So your form filter just gives you the fields, and then you can put some information into the field. And I also want to enter OH for Ohio. I click search. So I have active customers, okay, and I have Ohio. So that one worked. Now, if I started finding, notice I have 3 of my active customers don't have their industry type indicated. And if they happen to be other manufacturing places, and I searched on manufacturing as an industry type, they're not going to show up, okay? So that's why it's important to fill this information in. So I'm searched on 2 criteria. I can see it here, and I have my list. Now up here, when you do an advanced search, it will show you in red that you are currently in an advanced search view. So that lets you know you have a filter turned on in case you come in here and say, oh my gosh, where did all my records go? And then you have 3 options. You could edit the current view or filter by going back into the filter setup and adding another criteria. You can save the view, or you can clear it, cancel it, okay? So let's say I would like to save it. So I'm going to click on the button, and then I'm going to say Ohio active customers. And you want to try and give it a name that matches what the filter is so that you know when you look at a list of all your different views that you know what it means. So notice now my red text went away and Ohio active customers is now part of my drop-down list. So if I go back to all accounts, I will return to my 206 accounts that I have total in my database. And if I click on Ohio active customers, I will then have my active customers in the state of Ohio, okay? Now, somebody always wants to ask, what happens if I add a new record that is in Ohio and is an active customer? Well, no problem. If we go back to all customers, and let me just maybe find some Ohio folks here. No other criteria other than Ohio. So here's everybody in Ohio, and see I have a couple here that are prospects. So let's say that this customer here, Vortex, just became a customer. So when I go here and I edit their record, I'm going to change the status from prospect to active customer. And I would want to set the industry type, okay, while I'm in here. And anything else that I should be setting should be updated. And then I do a save and close. So as soon as I go back out, this is still Ohio. Okay, so they're still there, but you can see the status is now active customer and we have an industry type of manufacturing. So if I clear this view to get back to all accounts, then I can go to Ohio active customers and Vortex is now part of it. So the view is a filter, okay, that you're saving. So whatever criteria you set for the filter and then save it, every time you run that view or pull it up, it's going to look at your whole data list and say what matches. So it's not a fixed list. It will constantly update according to the filter. Okay, so that's usually a question that people ask, and I want to make sure you understand that. So you can begin to see now, you could create different kinds of filters here that will pull things up in different ways. All right. Another one that we could do, let's say that's the form filter. Let's go in and let's say that I want to find all of my customers that are in Ohio and Michigan. Well, I can't do that with the form filter on the state. Now I can say the status is an active customer, okay? But I can't put Ohio and Michigan in here. That won't work. So where I have to go here now is I can go to the standard filter tab, and then here I get to pick the field. So I want to scroll down until I see the state field. And then I have some comparisons here. Equal, not equal, greater than, so on and so forth, contains, not contains, is empty, is not empty. So what I usually do, I could put equal, okay? If I knew that throughout my entire database, everything that's entered for Ohio is only OH, and I could say it's equal OH, but somebody might have put in OHIO, okay? So what I tend to do is I go to contains. It loosens up the comparison a bit, so I can put OH. Then, or I could put begins with OH. That would be another way to do it, to kind of lock it in as well. And then I want to add another set of criteria. And in this case, I want the state to contain OH or to the state to contain or perhaps begin with MI for Michigan. Oops. Oops. Okay. So I get Ohio and Michigan, but oh, look what happened here. Somebody typed in Mississippi. The abbreviation for Mississippi is MS, but it contains MI when you spell out the whole word. So you do have to be a little bit careful, and you might have to go fix Mississippi to change it to MS, okay? So this is another consideration on your data. Decide, are we going to use full state names or are we going to use two-letter abbreviations? And be consistent throughout your database, okay? So I did that on purpose so that you would see that, that this is coming up even though we don't want to see it, okay? Now, if I said begins with, I can edit this. And instead of contains on the standard filter, I could say this begins with, and then put MI, but I could get Minnesota too, okay? So that's why you want to be consistent in what you do. Now here I should have gotten rid of Mississippi. Oh no, it begins with MI, never mind. That doesn't work either. So I'd want to go fix Mississippi and change it to MS. So anyway, I just want you guys to think about that because, you know, here we're looking at only a few records, but you might have several thousand or more, and you could have mistakes like that coming up in your filters. So you just want to check that out. Okay, so we've done that. Now, let's move on. We've done the advanced search with the form filter, and we've done it with combining the form filter with the standard filter. And let's move over to some opportunities here and bring in the time filter. So in opportunities, one of the important dates in here is the close date of an opportunity, and you can see mine are kind of outdated here. But you might want to find out, well, what opportunities do we have that have a close date of this month? What opportunities do we have that had a close date of that were won last month? Okay, so that we'd have to look for the stage of one and a close date of the previous month, which would be February or maybe the previous quarter, something like that. So those are the kinds of filters that you may want to create in here, because when you run those filters in here, then down at the bottom of your opportunities, as long as you have a value in the amount field, it will show you the total value down here and the total number of records. So currently, I'm looking at all my opportunities that are active opportunities, which means they're not won, lost, or no decision. So if I change this back to all opportunities, so I'm seeing everything, you can see that now I've got some ones that were won. So let's say we want to do an advanced search, and we want to find the sales stage of one. So I can do that in the form filter because it's very simple to do here. But then I want to go to the time filter and set a time filter. And when you come here, you're going to get a list of all the date fields that you have available to you in that opportunity record. So you could do creation date, how many new opportunities were created in the last 2 weeks or the last month. So I'm going to do a close date where we already said the sales stage has to be 1, and we have a close date. And down here we have year to date. That means it would be from January forward to today, okay? This 1 day, week, month, quarter, it could be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 quarters, okay? But let's say I want to find it for this current quarter. I can do last quarter too. Now I forgot how my sample was going to go, so we might have to come back in and change that. Okay, so we'll click search. So these are the opportunities that were won so far this quarter. So we have March and backwards to February, okay? So if I edit this, and we'll go back to our time filter, and let's say we want to do last quarter, which would be October, November, December of last year. So here, the close date, we have October and November. We didn't have anything in December, okay? So you can start to see that the time filters can be really helpful. And the great thing about these is this one, if I save this one as last quarter, this will keep showing October, November, December until we get to the next quarter of this year. So as soon as we hit April 1st of 2020, then the current quarter that we're in becomes last quarter. So you'll then begin to see all of the opportunities that were won for January, February, March. And then it will keep rolling forward with you as you progress through the year. Each time you go to the next quarter, then the quarter you're in becomes last quarter. So you can do that, you know, on a month basis, a week basis, whatever you want to do. And if you have those here, then you can pick them at any particular time. And also this kind of filter like that would feed it nicely into a report. So if you wanted to print out all of your opportunities that you won last quarter, then you could put that filter into a report. So that's why I say practice with these, because all of these techniques for searching and pulling things up feed beautifully into creating the filters that you want in reports, okay? Let me go back to all opportunities. Another one that you can use, let's say, I'm just looking at my amounts here. I want to see. Okay. I want to create a filter. And I want to do a sales stage of 1. And I'm not going to put a time filter on this one, but what I'm going to put on it is a filter for the amount. And I'm going to say that the amount is greater than or equal to $10,000. So this should list every single opportunity I've ever had in my list that has been won that the amount was greater than or equal to $10,000. Because I haven't put a time restriction on it. So there we go. So these amounts all need to be greater than $10,000, which they are, and they've all reached the 1 stage. And then you can see the close dates go back to 2018 because this is old data, okay? But that allows you to, that shows you that in the standard filter, you can do greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, things like that, and you can combine it with a time filter, a form filter. All 3 of those tabs work together so that you can put different criteria on the different tabs to do your filters, all right? So I could save that if I wanted to, or I can just cancel it. Okay, now, let's say that you want to clean up your database, those industry types that are missing industry types. Again, we're looking at only 200 records, so it's relatively easy to, go down through here. I can click at the top and sort by the industry type. And if I click again, I'm going to get all of the blank ones at the top, and then I could keep going down through. But you don't know how many there are, so you don't know what kind of a task you have in front of you. Do you only have 20? Do you have 50? Do you have 10,000? You know what? So you could create a filter here. And go to the standard filter, and then you're going to select the industry type field. Now, this is another thing you need to know. In the list here, all of your data fields are in alphabetical order, but you'll notice that industry type is not in here. That's because it's a custom field, and all custom fields are at the bottom of the list. There's a dashed line, and then below that dashed line will be all of your custom fields. So if you can't find it up here, that's because these are just the ClaritySoft fields up here, okay? So just scroll to the bottom and you will find it. So now I can choose industry type, and what I'm looking for are all the ones that are empty. And that's all I have to do is search that, and then I will get my list. And the good thing about this is I find out I have 163 out of the 205 records have no industry type. That's pretty bad, okay? So this would be a project that I'd want to start working on to set the industry type for all these records that are missing it. And so, and I'm also going to save this because I might not get this done today. So I'm just going to save it as blank industry type. Then I can start to work on it. And here's one of the things that you can do with ClaritySoft to help make your job a little bit easier is you can go down the side here and you can see Oh, what things you find that are of the same industry type. And let's see. I'm going to click in this, and I'm going to click in this. Basically, I'm looking for things that seem like they would be retail type stuff. Okay. Maybe that. So you click in the check boxes next to them, and if you've got 100 records showing, you can scroll down through the full 100 and click in all the ones you find. So I'm just going to do these 3. Then you go to List Actions, and underneath List Actions are all the things you can do with a selected list, one of which is Group Edit. And then you get a window that says, well, do you want to do all the selected records marked as checked or all the filtered records? Well, I don't want to do all 163 as the same industry type. I just want to do the ones that I've checked. So I click Apply. It brings up a standard filter window that's the Group Edit. And then I go find my industry type field, which again will be at the below the dashed line. And then I choose what it is, okay? And this is where you'll figure out whether you need more options in your list too. You might have to go fix that before you do all these. Click Apply, and 2 things are going to happen here. It's going to update those records, and those 3 records are going to disappear from my list. Why? Because the industry type field is no longer blank. I just filled it in. And you'll notice now I'm down to 160 records to fix, okay? So this will allow you, if you have this view or filter turned on, to go down through here, select records, do a group edit. When you click Apply, they'll update and they'll disappear from this list. So this list will get smaller and smaller until it's all down to 0, and then you're done with your updating. So that's a way that you can use the view, okay? And it can be really helpful to get your database updated and as correct as possible. And then when you want to go back to all of your accounts, you will see those records that quote disappeared, okay? So I don't remember what they were. It was eye candy. I know that one was one of them. Oh, I'm sorted by industry type. Let's sort by the account again. So they'll disappear because they're supposed to disappear, okay? I don't just type in eye candy. So there it is, eye candy network, active customer retail. So I set that to retail. So that one is correct now, okay? All right, so you can use filter and then use group edit to update records. How else can you use this? If I search for, oops. Oh, before I go on to the next search, I do want to show you, before I forget, under Spyglass, you have views. And when you go there, this shows you a list of all of the views that you have created. So here's my Ohio active customers. So I could go here, and here's my blank industry type, and I could go here, and I could rename it. I can edit the filter. I can clone it or copy it so I could create a new version of it. I could delete it if I no longer need it anymore. And then the important one is I can share it. If I've created a view that I know other people on my team can use, rather than them having to duplicate the effort, I can go and say, well, I'm going to share it with these people. They could all use that view, okay? And maybe I decide that a couple other people are going to help me fix this blank industry. Whoops, I ran the filter. I didn't mean to do that. And if I give them, if I share this view with a couple other people, then they're the ones that can help me update that blank list, that blank industry. And the great thing is when you fill in the industry type, it disappears from the list. So you guys aren't going to step on each other's toes and update, two of you update the same record. So you can share your records. And what happens when the other people log in to ClaritySoft, they will have the view here, but they will not be able to edit it in any way. Only you, as the original creator of it, will be able to edit it, okay? So they'll have it, but they won't be able to change it. All right, so I just want to make sure you understood that the views are under there and you have some control over those. And then I wanted to say, okay, I am traveling to Ohio and I want to make sure that I contact all my active customers. So right here, I have Ohio active customers. Okay. I want to send an email. Well, I can't send an email from accounts, but I can send it from contacts. So how do I get there? I come over here and I click in the checkbox to select all the records that I've just filtered out. And then I go to list actions again and view contacts. So I can view the contacts that are associated with these filtered accounts. Click on this. Again, it's going to ask me all records marked as checked or all filtered. Here, it wouldn't matter which one you picked. They're the same. And now I have a list of all the people associated with those accounts. And I have 6, I forgot how many accounts I had, accounts. But you can see here we have 2 people for Gazelle phone and internet. So I can send an email to both of them, no problem. So to email now, very simple. Click in the checkbox to select them, list actions again. And if you don't have the marketing module or you don't want to send a marketing email, you go to email contacts. Again, all records marked as checked. It'll open an email form. It'll have a list of all your people. Now I only have 4 here because 2 of them either don't have an email address or their opt-out email option has been checked inside the contact record. And at this point, I could click in here and say visiting Ohio. And then I could come here, hit the enter key a couple times and say hello. And then I get to make this individualized and say first name, or I could put salutation in there, which might contain nicknames. You just need to know how your database is set up. And then you can type whatever you want. And type your email. Once you've got it, click send, and an individual email will be sent to each one of these 4 people, and they will know that you're visiting Ohio and you want to set up an appointment with them. So group edit is a function you can do. Sending emails is a function you can do. You can filter at accounts on criteria there and then view contacts, or you can filter in contacts, whatever way works for you. Then other ways to use this would be you can also take a list that you may have and you can export it to Excel. So again, you can filter wherever you want to filter, change to contacts, and then go to list actions and export the list out to Excel. So, and some of you, it's possible you may not be able to do this. Sometimes your admin person restricts you on being able to export to Excel. So if you go to list actions and you don't see export to Excel, that means it's not turned on for you, okay? Once you're here, you get to choose the fields that you want to see. So it's basically like the list view where you can drag the information over, drop it, and then any custom fields that you want to see. Let's see if I want the contact person's name. Oh, it's already there. Never mind. Contact, the difference is contact will have the first and last name in the same column. First and last will split it. So you can, very quickly pull stuff over if you wanted the email address, whatever you want. Don't need fax, drop it over here. And then click apply. And when you do that, then Excel is going to open and show you, you then will be able to open a list of those contacts. So again, you have the export to Excel capability in all of the modules. So you can go to the module, filter, select the records, and then list actions, export to Excel. So that's another functionality that you can do using your filters. Okay, so that's about all I have for today. We've covered the quick search. We've covered the advanced search and multiple ways to use it, and the global search. And then how to save a view, how to see your views and share your views, and just in general, learn how to do your searching in your database. If no one has any questions, then we can go ahead and wrap up for the day. Go back here. First of all, as usual, thank you all for attending and listening. Hopefully you're getting some good ideas from all these different webinars each week. If you have any questions and you're not in Quick Start with Linda or myself, then you can contact tech support at 888-838-7487, extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. And then future topic ideas, requests, critiques, please email us at info@claritysoft.com. We always like to hear from everybody. So any comments that you have one way or another is always good, and we enjoy hearing from you. So with that, I will let you go and go have a good rest of your day, and hopefully we'll talk to you on our next webinar in a couple of weeks.